Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, if you are new here, if you're a Leafs fan, if you're a Jets fan, or just a fan of another team stopping by, I'm a journalism student. I'm also a Leaf fan. I'm going to try to be as objective about the officiating in last night's game between the Jets and the Leafs as I possibly can. This is not going to be a conversation about me saying the Jets players are bad and Leafs players are great. This is just a conversation about the NHL and the officiating as a whole. Because when you have this document being sent to all general managers from October the 18th, and this is from Alan Walsh's Twitter from December the 1st, basically saying that coaches will be subject to supplemental discipline and fines if they criticize the referees openly? What? What world are we living in where there is a billion-dollar entertainment product and babies policing it? So let's start with Sheldon Keefe's comments post-game, because he says you make the decision there as a coach that he felt that they needed to have a response to what was going on. And then he talks about the Pierre-Luc Dubois, Austin Matthews situation where Dubois was kind of pulling on his jersey a little bit and Matthews turned around and there was a little bit of a scrum and altercation between the two, and both of them got offsetting penalties. They played 4-on-4, whatever. Maybe it could have been a power play for the Leafs. Where one guy gets 4 minutes, the other guy gets 2. Well, whatever, it wasn't. And then the knee-on-knee happens between Neil Pionk and Rasmus Sandin, and there's no call on the play whatsoever. And if there is a 5-minute major, it goes to 4-on-3. The Leafs get a 5-minute power play in a 2-goal game, mind you. And I think that changes the entire landscape of things. Do all the shenanigans that happen afterwards, do those take place? No, because it's a 2-goal game and the Leafs have a 5-minute power play in the third period. And then a couple of shifts later, Jason Spezza, Neil Pionk, kind of falling over a little bit, comes over, sort of knees him in the head. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. But the fact that Jason Spezza needs to be Batman in that situation, basically, the players at that point are policing themselves. And to continue that point, this is what I said on Twitter last night. Officiating like tonight is how games get out of hand. Generally, game management, there's two definitions of it. There's the one that makes sense, and then there's the one that's stupid. The one that's stupid is when one team has 3 power plays and another team has none, and because they have none, the refs will look for a soft call to make to give them a power play, right? To get them back into the game. That's dumb. But game management in the sense where you're at ice level, you're watching the game, you're hearing the game, you're communicating with the players, you're communicating with the coaches, you have the best feel to which direction this is headed based on what's happening. And if you get a sense that things are going off the rails at any point, you need to manage the game and the players and the coaches that are within it. And this is where the anger comes from, right? Brad Meir, the official when Nazem Kadri got suspended against Boston. Which one? The one where he cross-checked Jake DeBrusk in the face. If you watch that game, if you remember that game, before you leave a comment, go watch the highlights, the extended ones. Make sure that they're the extended ones. You know that game got just as much out of hand as last night's did. There he is. There's his face. There's his name, Brad Meir. There's his number 34. You go to a game, you're watching one on TV, you see number 34 out there. That's not a player. That's a referee. You know that you're going to be in for some expletive. Just total garbage. And this is just the cherry on top of whatever your favorite cake is. Because after that Toronto-Boston series, apparently the officiating crew were reprimanded. And everyone was like, oh, finally, we got one in, right? The refs finally held accountable. What does that mean, reprimanded by the NHL? What does it mean? Because that memo from the beginning of the season sounds like this meant nothing. They didn't do anything. What did it mean? That they weren't allowed to do any more games in those playoffs that year? Is there some sort of referee shortage that I'm not aware of, that we're not aware of? You know how many different levels of hockey there are in Canada or North America or the world as a whole? Every single one of them has dozens of referees. You can't tell me that there isn't anyone else to do this. just for fun and for a little bit of extra cash, I've been timekeeping for the North York Hockey League here in Toronto. And I've been working with referees on a weekly basis, obviously at a much lower level than the NHL. But you know what I've never heard any of them say? Before games, after games, between games? Hey, let's make our job more difficult by just calling nothing. Let's create as many possible suspensions as we can, because we all love filling out paperwork. And that obviously distracted from the fact that the Leafs played like garbage defensively, left Joseph Woll out to dry on multiple 2-on-1s. So the game was frustrating from several different standpoints, but it's also the second half of a back-to-back. They're playing without Mitch Marner. The Jets are coming into this game rested, at home. You know, if you were looking at a game that you can just see on the calendar that you're maybe thinking, I don't really like their chances, and then Mitch Marner goes down, yeah, was probably last night's game against the Jets. But they came back. It was 4-1 at one point. Then it was 5-3 Winnipeg. And like Sheldon Keefe said, you get the 5-minute major there on Pionk kneeing Rasmus Sandin, who we have no idea how long he's going to be out for. That's the main takeaway from this game. I hope he's okay, right? He's having a hell of a season for the Maple Leafs right now. And knee injuries, they're not fun. They were playing hockey. It was a hockey game until it just wasn't, right? None of that stuff. None of that stuff. After Pierre-Luc Dubois grabbing on Matthews, whatever, that's gamesmanship. I can let that go. All the stuff that happened after the knee-on-knee contact, that's not hockey. What are we doing? What are we doing? What was happening yesterday at MTS Center? Whatever the hell the arena is called. I don't know. This is the only point in the video where I'll admit there may be a little bit of a bias here, but I'll own that. Not really the biggest Pierre-Luc Dubois fan. From the 2020 play-in round series against the Blue Jackets to however many games we played him last year against the Jets, I get it. He's one of those guys where if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, you probably hate him. I understand that. But if you're going to do the stuff that he does on the ice, at least own it, right? To have one shift in the final 10 minutes there, whose decision is that? Is that him and the coach? Is that just the coach? I understand Pierre-Luc Dubois is one of their better players, and you don't want to potentially lose him to any sort of antics. What do you think Rasmus Sandin is for the Toronto Maple Leafs? What do you think Jason Spezza is? Why was Wayne Simmons conveniently kicked out of this game? I don't know, I was listening on the radio, I didn't hear anything that egregiously happened. I understand that he got fined for however many thousands of dollars. I don't know, he doesn't care. What is this? What did we watch yesterday in Winnipeg in the third period? Because then you have Logan Stanley like going off the ice towards the penalty box, acting like he just won the WWE championship or something like that. Dude, you are the size of a box truck. First of all, you didn't really fight anyone of note, right? It's not like you dropped the gloves with Wayne Simmons or anything like that. And second of all, you are Goliath in every single situation. I don't know. I guess whatever. The fans enjoyed it. I guess if that's what he was going for. And then there's some 50-50 things that we haven't talked about. There was the soft holding call at the beginning of the game on Jake Muzzin. Whatever. You know, there was the slash, stick breaks, whatever. That's going to happen. The knee on Joseph Woll. That's back-to-back games where a Leaf goalie gets run. And there was a response in this game. Last game, not so much. But at least Marcus Foligno had the puck, right? I can see what he's doing there. In this case, Woll comes way out of his crease to play it, and it's the one of those accidental on purpose sort of things where, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Hopefully he's okay, because he was already coming into this one a little bit banged up, and that's why Michael Hutchison was with the team for the last little while. Unfortunately, I can't show replays and highlights on the channel. I can show screenshots like this. If you're going to say that, oh, maybe the referee just didn't see the knee-on-knee contact. He's standing right here. And you know what? It's your job to see it. Get in a better position. I've tried to separate myself and drift away from yelling in these videos or going way over the top at things. Obviously, sometimes I think the situation calls for it, which this video definitely did. But I just don't feel it helps me get my point across any better. And I just want to reiterate, no one is saying what Nazem Kadri did a couple of seasons ago was justified because the referees weren't doing their job. No one is saying that what Jason Spezza did yesterday was justified because the referees weren't doing their job. But the point is that the referees were not doing their jobs. And that you should be able to criticize them for not doing their jobs. Why is a multi-billion-dollar entertainment product being policed on a nightly basis by people who either can't be bothered or who can't handle constructive criticism? I can accept the fact that these are human beings mediating a situation. I can appreciate that. Not always the easiest thing to do. I was a baseball umpire, again, at a very, very low level. I know what it's like to have to make a split-second decision and live with it afterwards. Because it's not like you could be, oh, strike. No, never mind. That was a ball. I understand. But this is not just one missed call. This is a pattern of behavior that the NHL is standing behind. Standing behind because these guys are still doing games. I will leave a pinned comment if there are any updates either on Jason Spezza's suspension or Rasmus Sandin's injury. I guess that's going to be it for this video, guys. Like on the video if you did like it, and subscribe for more because more is always on the way. And I guess we'll see what happens.